So this video popped up on Destiny's channel called Gaze Within. This was the name of his Twitter account. This shows his descent into madness, I guess, when it comes to the online left. And I actually have some constructive criticisms of what the left says to him during this duration.
You're
And by the way, I'm not like defending any stupid shit he did on Twitter. I'm just saying the people who are in the category of people that pisses him off, I don't blame him for a lot of the criticisms he makes towards them.
You're talking about reaction to identity politics, dog. Half the people that were tweeting at me in response to what you were saying to me were literal Nazis and white supremacists, like linking
Look,
me.
man, it's this guilt by association shit. Why don't you denounce all the communists in your movement? They
What's
killed
wrong with
100 million people.
Wait,
what's
what is
wrong with communists?
communism?
Is that what you just said?
Wait, what does communism have to do with any of this?
Well, what do Nazis have to do with this?
The people, it's a political
and race ideology. Communism is just an economic thing.
Oh, it's an economic thing. Okay, Nazis were a movement in 1930s.
You're here.
Hey.
What's up?
All right. So all the other soy boys social.
I think this is Socialism Done Left, who is the person that Destiny actually likes on the left.
Want to argue like morals and dumb shit like that. I'm gonna red pill you on the empirical evidence for socialism. So like, what's the strongest empirical evidence against socialism?
No, I don't think that you can.
What would be the strongest empirical evidence for it?
I don't think you have empirical evidence against it. It just doesn't seem like it's been done on like a large level yet.
Oh, sure. So I should clarify. I am a democratic socialist, and I think that the USSR came reasonably close to implementing a bad
market regulation that would prevent that. Like, what is your big problem with socialism? Like, do you not believe in a democratic workplace?
No, I think that it could work. I just don't know if I agree with the abolishment of capital or the abolishment of capitalists. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think owning capital, like unilaterally, it should be bad.
Okay, but what about the means by which you derive that capital? Because theoretically, in democratic workplace, all the workers
Well, like,
can get
I'm
together.
okay with reforming. If we move in directions that are empirically proven, I'm fine with that. That's fine. I'm already in favor of that. I'm already in favor of single-payer healthcare. I'm already in favor of greater redistribution of wealth. I'm already in favor of probably like more like worker representation.
Destiny saying he's for this stuff, by the way, puts him to the left of 90% of America. And even his, I know people hate his private property takes, but his takes on rioting when it comes down to, when you get past all the cringy shit on Twitter, he literally says he is not okay with people burning down private property, but he is okay with people who are protesting to orchestrate that political violence towards like courthouses and government buildings and police offices. He's okay with that. That stance alone on private property puts him to the left to the radical side of 90% of Americans. If you ask any ordinary American, what should rioters be allowed to do? He has a more left position than they do. They would never say it's okay for people to burn down a police station and whatever. So that take, his Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, that's a different bag of trouble. But when it comes down to his solid private property takes, that is where most Americans are. But his policy positions when it comes to single-payer healthcare, when it comes to workers' rights, he is pretty far to the left when it comes to American standards.
Unions and whatnot. Like, these are policies I'm already fine with. I just don't know why I need to be like a full-on like, all labor is exploitative, the fucking proletariat will riot. I don't think I need to go like that full fucking AIDS in order to have those conversations. I can continue to push for programs that maybe move us towards
So
the
at least it's fair to say that you are not like one of these fans of Nicolas Maduro.
No, aren't there like a lot of I've seen reactions to this. Aren't there a lot of like lefty people that are kind of like championing him and saying, well, the U.S. is only trying to kick him out because this is capitalism versus socialism again or something like that. And then some people are getting mad because they're kind of excusing what are probably human rights violations of this guy because he seems to represent left.
Yeah. I mean, so far your limited perspective matches up with mine, which gets me criticized on a lot.
I'm sorry, guys.
And I totally agree with Destiny when it comes down to like, if somebody says to you they don't want a full restructuring of capital and they still want to focus on worker rights, use that. Like, don't say, oh, that's not good enough because you're not anti-capitalist. But honestly, I don't think that's a big issue. I think we all understand, if you're watching my channel, we understand why coalitions are important. And people who do that stuff are mostly LARPers on Twitter that don't care about actual change. Because when it comes down to most Americans, if someone says something to you about like, you know, like an issue with, like, for example, there's an issue going on right now with the lockdowns where if you're at a rural area, people are going to say, why are all of the small businesses closing? And why are they dying when Walmart can stay open? And instead of saying to them, like, we need some type of socialist utopia, you don't need to bring up socialism at all. You can literally say to them, oh yeah, well, the reason that these small businesses are closing and suffering is, one, because the government isn't providing stimulus for them, isn't helping them stay afloat during this pandemic, and also because Walmart and what's another big store? Target, these are the only places to get groceries as a result of the current system. Small, community-owned grocery stores are no longer a thing in most areas. So now we have Walmart, we have Target. So when things happen like a pandemic, you need to focus on Walmart because that's the only place that a society can actually get food from. So, like, you don't need to pound socialism down people's throats in order to get your message across. And it's a really LARPy thing to do that.
Workers are fucking stupid. They are. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know how anybody can disagree with this. I don't know how
Well, yeah, Amazon, obviously.
anybody...
But for, like, immediate groceries and essential needs, you don't need to be you don't need to be a socialist for that conversation. You could be a workers' rights person. You can be a community-oriented person. A lot of what socialists push for can easily be talked about in a communal setting. Like, hey, we should have a community-run grocery store for this issue. Or we should have our community come together and fund our fire departments. Like, for example, in my state, 90% of firefighters are volunteer. So 90% of firefighters don't get paid. If you are a socialist, you shouldn't call yourself a socialist. You should literally come up to those firefighters and say, you know what, your job is to literally go into burning buildings. I think going into burning buildings, if you go into a dangerous situation like that, you respond to fires, you should get paid something. 90% of firefighters are volunteer. That's crazy. You could say we should come together and we should fund, something to pay firefighters. And then you go into some type of whatever your socialist rhetoric can be. Like, that's how you should frame all this messaging. Come together as a community and advocate for the working man, for the weak man in every situation. But I think a lot of people on Twitter miss that message.
Work a job and come away thinking, yeah, my fellow coworkers are so smart, I wish they ran the workplace. I don't know who could possibly fucking think this, besides white college kids that haven't worked jobs before. I'm being elitist.
They were like, they were not able to bend, so they broke. But the notion that capitalism is somehow responsible for China's growth, well, you could argue that. They've traded with capitalist countries, but they've pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. I think China's achievements are an inspiration to the entire world.
I'm kind of curious. In other countries, wait, can I ask him one question?
Let's only address points that
sure. So I'm
making,
yeah,
and not.
Well, that I'm more of, if you want me to get really, really explicit, I'm more along the lines of an anarcho-communist.
And also, Americans, 90% of America doesn't care what brand of communist you are.
I call myself that specifically, but I would say that I trend in that area.
Okay, I
come from the more like contract-oriented, exchange of goods and services, products, labor, etc.
Okay. I just don't see how organizing this company in a different fashion, like the issue that you have with the company of people being susceptible to sensationalist headlines.
I already told you I'm not here to completely defend Vietnam. I'm just here to set the record straight that there's a lot of misinformation about Vietnam, and the capitalist media makes it seem a lot worse than it is. But that's not to say that I will defend every single action that the Vietnamese government does, because I'm not a Marxist-Leninist.
Okay, well then what's the alternative? Because every socialist system has miserably fucking failed, like in a much quicker amount of time than like the capitalist system we have right now. Like, wait, why would your personal income decline? Because
you lost your job as a union steelworker and you became a stupid Walmart greeter.
Fuck the union steelworkers. I don't want every single working family in America to pay more for all of their goods because we're trying to...
Okay, so this argument Destiny makes is basically surrounding the idea that we should do trade deals because it lowers the cost for American workers. I don't totally disagree with him that trade deals, by nature, they are going to benefit our country financially more than if we did produce stuff in America. There's a reason they move jobs overseas, because there is a net positive for our country. The big focus could be, but isn't, the idea that we can take that money from these trade deals and distribute it in a way that doesn't hurt the worker directly. But just saying screw you to the steelworker, I'm not sure if that's a really good foundational approach for economic recovery after trade deals decimate like a manufacturing sector. Like, how do you build that back up? Do you make community jobs programs? I'm not for a federal jobs program like Bernie Sanders was, but I think you could do good stuff at the community level. There are programs like that already. I was talking about fire departments. You can actually pay people to be firemen. They are not being paid right now in most of America. Like 90% of American firefighters are volunteer. There's a lot of different ways you can fix this. Playgrounds that are falling apart in local areas, trash in the streets, sidewalks that need to be repaired. You can make a lot of jobs doing these things using that money that you get, in America from those trade deals. The issue really is people don't own the government, which is really the thing we all fall back on, getting money out of politics. You have to, if you're going to have a capitalist system like Destiny is talking about, you need to really be advocating for policies to fix the incentives of that capitalist system so that they are positive for the people. So like Andrew Yang would call this human-centered capitalism. But Destiny never gets down to the policy stuff. He blames it on the lefties always bringing up ideological reasoning and idealistic standards. But in reality, if he wanted to let down the ego thing and actually talk about just straight policy all the time, he could do that. But he really does enjoy the internet blood sports that he participates on with the left online, which is really unfortunate because Destiny really could be a leader in this movement of like pragmatic people on the center left and further left in America. But he is deciding to be like this edgelord still, which is really unfortunate, and especially with the work he's doing in Atlanta. He's like 30 something years old. I mean, I don't know what kind of value he would see in being a part of that movement. He obviously understands political power after reading that one book. I actually did order that book. I forget who it's written by, that political power book.
Protect one narrow sect of the economy. Why the fuck should I make every working family in America?
That's right, I got big on the internet.
Oh yeah, but I mean like straight policy debates. I like his Newstony segments, but I mean like when it comes to talking policy with other people, like socialism done left is somebody he should bring on more. He shouldn't be I know it gets clicks to talk to these crazy people, but like there's a way to have these conversations and facilitate them. I wish he would do that debate show more. What's that called? Destiny. What's it called? It was that one where it's like it's only him for a little bit. I forget the exact name. Bastia and Social and Sock Down Left debated court packing on there, and I think there was there a reparations debate on there, or there's going to be. I like that. Yeah, he wants to entertain people and his ego.
You guys on the left absolutely suck shit.
Oh yeah, Politics for Power by is it Eitan Hirsch?
Confrontation. Yeah. You're not willing to defend any of your ideas. You can't substantiate anything outside of like a huge video circle jerk, and all you do is you mischaracterize the fuck out of everybody that disagrees with you. This is why I got popular. It's because I filled a void that none of you were able to do.
Okay, so what you've done here,
yep.
Shut the fuck up. What you've done here is you've made me tired. Okay?
He's literally laying on his ass, firing shots at people 20 feet away who weren't even moving towards him.
Okay, but in the same way that the left isolates people away from good conversation with them, like through their like really ideological approach that might be a little bit LARPy online, in the same way, Destiny is kind of doing that with his lane, if that makes sense. He's kind of shutting out the conversation from the left. If he has someone on the left, he's instantly going to approach that conversation in a worse way. Like that person on the left has to prove themselves to him in a way that other people don't, I think. At this point, I mean, with the reputation he's built, with all the lefty arc stuff, I know he really enjoys it. But I feel like this is a real barrier to it. But you know what? He's doing good numbers. He's at, 321k subscribers after all the Pokemon drama when he became a little TMZ channel for Twitch for a couple days.
Hold on. Have you watched that video?
I mean, I've watched, I think, that video, yeah.
Can somebody link the second video so that we can watch it together? Because I have no idea what the fuck you are talking about. Hold on.
I'm not defending the shooter running across to some other fucking state so that he can live out his LARPing zombie-killing fucking fantasies, alright? And it's the thing that I don't understand is that when I watch so many videos of these protests, you always see these, like, black kids in the group screaming at everybody. Watch out for agitators. Don't get violent. Don't let people get you off message. Like, this is what I see. And now I'm seeing, like...
Yep, Destiny is right. This is a big issue. These people from out of state coming in and wrecking havoc, and agitators coming in and wrecking havoc and causing chaos. But when it comes to the rhetorical fashion he displays that argument in, what's better, talking about it in this way, or literally just saying, we need white nationalist militias to come mow down protesters who want to torch buildings? Like, there's ways to present this argument that is totally going to be received in a good light. But I feel like, does he choose the edgy one on purpose? Or is it his, like, national, or not national, obviously, but natural response? Because if he framed the argument about Rittenhouse like this every time, if he framed the argument about protesting and rioting every time like this, and then he said, I'm okay with people torching courthouses and stuff, I just don't want them to hurt private property, I feel like he would be received so much better than he is right now with his current like strategy.
Videos of like a lot of it is fucking white people running around torching shit. Like,
oh yeah, there are definitely a lot of fake protesters. Most of the people at these protests, like when a big event happens, they aren't even from the community. So, like, his point isn't completely lost in what he's saying. But, like, if he decides to just say the thing he said that's really inflammatory, then people aren't going to receive it well. So that's what I mean, like, he's gatekeeping his ideas by doing that. And I know he has a new strategy. He talks to, what's his name, Booksmarts. I might be doing a little video with Booksmarts about his rhetorical, his strategy for that. He's being calmer now, which can be a good thing.
Not to mention how selfish that is, because at the end of the day,
come on, God, I work too hard for this. People don't even understand nothing. Come on. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right what y'all doing.
As a result of that, let's go over. If you haven't followed my stuff lately, I've been getting to a lot of fights with lefty communities because I noticed that extreme lefty communities oftentimes employ the same rhetorical strategies as communities, blah, blah, blah. Then that became like the new, fun, hip, cool, sexy thing to be. Then after that, that kind of got bored. We got a little bit of centrism coming out. We had the Tim Pools, Dave Rubins, and now we're coming into the era of the online lefties, the champagne socialists, the people that are making so goddamn much money on Patreon, they're embarrassed about it, so they hide.
Then they said, we're terminating your agreement, removing your partnership on October 9th.
I think that the examples that you gave.
Oh my god!
Yeah, last night. The examples that you gave.
Holy shit! This is unreal! Are you guys watching this?
Okay, with a person like Hassan, he's going to not like Hassan at all because a lot of what Hassan does, and this isn't a negative or a positive, but it is really performative, which is good for content. It's good for getting people on your side. Like, he's really good at converting people, like, from a more moderate ideology to his ideology. And he's good at, like, getting people together, like the AOC stuff. But when it comes down to what Destiny's expectations are for a conversation, they're obviously going to butt heads pretty hard on that.
Can't believe this right now. Why can't you just answer the question?
Oh, I think I think you're a secret tanky. I do think that. Don't you still have like all that, like your name is Central Committee, don't you still have all like that Soviet shit or whatever on your fucking
No, I understand 100%. That's just the fucking answer I'm giving every single fucking time somebody tells me that I think communism is really stupid. I understand that the fucking communism, that fucking Das Kapital is not. This is how communism works. It's a critique of capitalism that says that it inevitably lead to the rise of socialism. I know that. I understand that. Do you have an argument for communism and socialism, or did you just come here to drop that totally fucking retarded?
I'm banning you because I've literally said multiple times that the shooter is a fucking moron. I've literally said it multiple times. But you can't hear it. You can't hear me saying it because you're so emotionally invested in this. You so want to be anti.
Oh, so you're saying DSA tried to pay you, liar?
No. I'm saying I did not saying that. I never said that. I'm saying that if you're gonna make a very strong claim like this, it's obvious that there's.
Okay, so
I'm Destiny, and I try to make sure that when we talk about breaking news, we're not rattling off some dumbass bullshit that we have no fucking idea what we're talking about. That's what I'm doing tonight.
And I'm Nina, and I go through nightlife not being a white piece of shit. Nice to meet you, Destiny. Don't ever fucking address us like that again.
Questions and then I can answer every single one.